Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to The Sims 4. Welcome back to another speed build. Today we're doing a tiny home for no other reason than I sort of felt like it. I was like, I want to do a teeny tiny home, and it was kind of relieving at first because for some reason I had it in my head that a tiny home was 16 tiles, and I was like, I have no idea how I'm going to do that. That's going to be such a challenge. And then I signed in and it was like 32 and I was like, oh well, that'll be easy. I was wrong. I also had this idea in my head that I didn't want a square. I wanted a little popped out kitchen, but I will tell you, this house is also like fully different than I intended it to be, but that was kind of cool. It was kind of one of those moments where it was like, you know, I say this a lot, but like the build started kind of just doing its own thing and I was like, oh, that's dope. So the kitchen is kind of popped out. Originally, like in my head, it was full wall to ceiling, floor to ceiling, windows, wall to ceiling. That's just kind of a normal, well, not really. It's okay, we're not going to psychoanalyze that too much. And it ended up not quite being that, but I think it turned out really cool. And it ended up a little bit more like sort of contemporary. Honestly, this house is, I built it in Willow Creek just because I thought it'd be fun to build in Willow Creek, but I think this house would have done really well in, oh my goodness, Oasis Springs. There you go. Did you hear the brain just die there? Did you hear it? I think this house would be really cool in actually Oasis Springs. It ends up kind of with that, more of that style, that sort of like, I don't know what you'd call it. I guess like maybe Palm Springs look, maybe? I'm not really sure, but you know, Oasis Springs in the base game. I think it'd be really cool there. And then I had to be a little bit creative because I wanted to do some things with like a back porch, but I didn't obviously want any of the tiles to count back there, so it's definitely not a room. And I was trying to figure out how to make like a full-sized fence here, and it wasn't quite working, but I think it ends up kind of cool in the back. There is no way to get out to the back except through the front door, but it's also like a super teeny tiny house, so I kind of figured like, does it super matter? It's like 4 steps. It's fine. And you see me putting columns around, and as we go, the columns are going to end up being somewhat the bane of my existence. It's fine. The only thing that ends up being the bane of my existence is for some reason, I decided to use the Murphy bed. Now, don't get me wrong, in a house of this size, the Murphy bed makes sense. Except for, no matter what swatch you pick, it's different on the inside. So I designed this entire house around the Murphy bed being up in couch form, which is predominantly yellows. So it'll take a minute. We go through a pink phase, we go through kind of a different phase, but it ends up being darker woods and yellow. And I actually think it turns out pretty cool. It's actually quite warm and cozy, a little bit different than my personal style in here, but reasonably cute. Here I'm kind of just placing a little bit filler furniture, trying to make sure, not filler furniture, some of it I knew I wanted, but some of it I was just trying to like make sure things fit, things were gonna work. But yeah, no, then I folded down the Murphy bed and it's purple. I don't know, dude. Also, Murphy bed, you can't put pillows on, which I knew, but I was so hopeful it would magically work. I was hoping that like the pillows on the bed were like enough that it would just kind of look, or like it would line up enough that the pillows would just look like part of the bedding. They don't. Technically, you could put pillows on the couch, and then every night when your sim folds it down, you could move the pillows. That feels like an exceptional amount of work to me. Now, I know some people really play for that realism, and that's fantastic. Like, Busted Dust is great for that, things like that, laundry day. Moving a pillow each night, that's a level of realism that I simply do not aspire to. And to be clear, in my own room, I have a bunch of pillows, some of which should be moved every night, that I don't. So maybe I am aspiring to a level of realism in that I just know that I simply will not move the pillows. Here I am decorating the kitchen. I opted for open shelving up above, and actually open shelving. Actually, does the open shelving say? Yeah, it does. It absolutely does. Sorry, brain fart there. And open shelving down below. Now, let's be like super clear. In a tiny house, open shelving like this, worst idea ever, because where you hiding the things that aren't aesthetic? Where's the cabinet where you just shove the crap and ignore it, right? There's not one. That's dangerous. So, admittedly, this is absolutely entirely a Sims kitchen because you can only have the things in your storage that, like, you are actually comfortable having out for people to see. So there is no, like, hiding your top ramen or, like hiding your Dr. Pepper addiction. Calling myself out on both fronts. I always have, like, a big old pack. I go to, like a, what do you call them, like the big box discount stores. I have one kind of near me, and then we have a Costco a ways away. I don't go to Costco as much just because, like, They're like really far away. You can kind of order stuff from them, but they're not like super cheap when you order. Anyways, I'm getting distracted. I grew up going to Costco. My grandpa always gifted my mom and my aunt and uncle Costco memberships for Christmas. That was his big gift, is they were all on the same plan. So I grew up with Costco and the big box stores, and now I use I think it's called a Walmart. I don't actually know what it is. I don't know. It's just, my grandma was like, go shop here. And I was like, great, it's cheap. I go and I pick up like big thing of top ramen. I'm like, I make dinners a fair amount, but a thing that happens a lot of times too is like my family likes to eat early, but a lot of times I'm still like at work and stuff. So I will like come out and have basically the equivalent of lunch with them, but then they're like all settling in for the night, getting ready to go to bed or whatever. And I'm like, I'm hungry. So I get the top ramen. I still bust out the top ramen. So I go get like the jam pack of that, and then I have a Dr. Pepper addiction, which is trendy right now, and I think that's cool. Except for I guarantee it's gonna raise the prices on it, which is really annoying. But it's like whatever. I'm glad people are enjoying it and it's more mainstream. The thing is I've had a Dr. Pepper addiction since like I was 12. Like easily since I was 12. It's a problem. I've cut back. And people always go, oh, you have a caffeine addiction. No, it's not a caffeine addiction. I can stop caffeine whenever I want. It's specifically that Dr. Pepper is tasty. I really enjoy that as a soda because I don't even really like Coke. Like Coke is good. Coke is, you gotta have Coke when you go to like a Mexican restaurant. If you're gonna go and you're gonna get like the carne asada, you gotta have a Coke. I don't know. I don't make the rules. There used to be a place where I used to live, and it was so tasty. They had the best like street tacos, and they had the glass bottle Coke, and it was so good. It was so tasty. They had the like where like none of the labeling was in English, and it was the best Coke ever. And I haven't figured out how to get any around here. That's good Coke though. Coca-Cola, to be clear. Anyways, going back to the build here, you can see I picked the color for my Murphy bed. It had yellow. I was like, sweet. The orange, I kind of tried to match in a few places, but I was like, yellow and orange is going to seem kind of fast foodie, so we're going to kind of ignore the orange. It should be okay. And then I couldn't figure out what color that little pot was. I was like, it kind of looks like a steely blue or a gray on the monitor I was working on. So I was like, well, since it kind of looks like a steely blue or maybe a gray, we'll kind of go with some grays or some steely blues around. Unbeknownst to me, that is a dark, dusty plum purple, like on the bedding. And in the bed, for some reason, there are orange pillows, purple bedding, and a blue picture. Why? Oh, and here's where she almost died. It's fine. I left this in because I found it funny. Like, it literally smashed her into the thing. But, yeah, what you aren't gonna see here is I fully upgraded the bed. I was like, nope, I'm not gonna kill my test sim. So I believe if you download this from the gallery, the bed will be fully upgraded too, which is nice. Because I don't know, like, I don't play with Murphy beds that often, but when I do, I find that they break too easily. Like, to me, that should be like a fun, oh no, and not like I should just assume my sim is going to die by this if I don't have the handiness skill right away, you know? But I continued going back to the build just with the same sort of, I just was like, okay, it's yellow and orange. We're not going to, like, I'm not going to try to mess with the purple too much. And orange and purple can get dangerously Halloweeny, so I was like, it's fine. We're just gonna say the bedding doesn't matter. She just picked cute bedding, and it's fine. The blue picture, we're just gonna be annoyed about and move on. That was kind of the plan there. And I ended up going kind of with a mixture of wood tones. Darker woods was the predominant choice because of the countertops, but I also wanted to match the wood to the Murphy bed where I could, and because Tiny Living does have like matching swatches across some of their stuff, I was like, well, we can kind of do that. Although not all of their swatches match, which is like super fun. And then I went with kind of a bright bathroom just because I thought it's not often that you get a situation where you can like do fun bright colors. Also, I fully recognize that wood flooring in this wet bath is hella dumb. I recognize that floor would be a mess. So we're going to pretend it is wood themed tile, because I didn't think about that while I was actually building. But it is also a wet bath for those wondering, which means the shower, the toilet, and the sink are all in the same place. Not super common where I live. Very common, it seems like, in smaller places in other places in the world, smaller apartments and things like that. So in an actual real world situation, you would have a setup in there that makes more sense for like hiding your toilet paper, making sure you like your toothbrush and stuff don't get wet. In The Sims, can't really do that. We can mimic a wet bath because we just have the open showers now, but we can't really mimic the like, your toilet should move to hide your toilet paper, or like there are places to stick things where they get dry, or they stay dry. Like a medicine cabinet and stuff like that. We do have medicine cabinets, but not ones that I was chill with in this particular build. And then we started working on the outside here, and I went with predominantly metal siding, I think. Although, having said that, I think I switched to wood. And then a little bit of stone on the accent. And this is where the columns started killing me, because this column would not rise up. It just wouldn't. The other one wouldn't either. This one I eventually do get to work. If I recall, I pull out the corner, I think we get a porch is what happens. I do remember solving this. I didn't build this that long ago, but I built it over my holiday break, which, to be honest with you, was a blur predominantly of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle and Planet Zoo, to be honest with you, which is a game I have been excited about for eons and have never had the opportunity to play it. And I got it on console this year for Christmas. My brother was like, you only talk about this game all of the time and never just buck up and buy it. And I was like, I know, it's just never like been the right time. And let me tell you, this game lived up to all of my expectations. I've been having so much fun. There was a brief like elephant escape situation. Oh my goodness. I have just noticed the badge on my Discord is like rapidly going up. If you've been hearing Discord noises, I am so sorry. I don't think you will with the mic. But sometimes I find rogue noises in my recordings. So just as a heads up, my Discord may or may not have been going off. So if you're working rogue Discord noises and couldn't figure out why, it might have been my video. I'm so sorry. That's been happening lately. I don't know what's going on. My notifications say they're turned off. But my computer says a lot of things that I don't know if I believe. Does anyone else have that issue? I think part of it is my job because, you know, software engineer. I'm like, anytime a computer says anything, I'm like, yeah, but do you really believe that? But also just like, I don't know, dude. Because sometimes it'll be like, it's the end of the world, and I'm like, why don't you take a powder? Just take a minute. You're fine. You'll be okay. And the computer's like, oh yeah, I will be. Okay, never mind. My work computer does that a lot, where it'll be like, it's the end of the world, and I'm like, is it? You sure? Let's sit on it a minute. I'm gonna go get like a hot drink, like a hot beverage. You're gonna take a minute. We're gonna figure it out. And usually I come back and it's fine. Anywho, I also am watching this now and thinking, I don't know if I put another column on the other side of that window in the front to make it match pretty when I moved it. If I didn't, I will fix that before it goes up on the gallery. But yeah, here you're starting to see like where I did the patio, where I was like, okay, I want this to look a little bit more intentional, but still very clean. I tried to not clutter it too much. I wanted it to look like this person had plants and enjoyed plants, but it wasn't like their whole deal, right? And again, like, I built in Willow Creek, but this kind of has Oasis Spring vibes, and if we were in Oasis Springs, we wouldn't have like a ton of plants anyway, because it would be super hot. So like, these would all be fairly deserty plants. And again, that ended up being the vibe, even though that wasn't where I was going with this to start. Oh gosh, and then for some reason I decided to do these square bushes, which I do love, but boy do they take a hot minute to place. They take so dang long to place, and honestly, looking at this now, I should swivel some of them so they're not just like copy pasted, but like, good night, Martha. This was such an endeavor to get to place nice, but they look good. They look really manicured. They look so nice, and especially like around the kitchen windows where the windows are like a little bit higher, they look real good. I really like the way this turned out. There's like gardening options. There's like with the back patio, you could put painting stuff down. There's room for all kinds of different things in this little house, and it's only 32 tiles, which means you're gonna get all of the skill gain if you have tiny living, which honestly you kind of probably need for this build, because like you're gonna lose like the Murphy bed and stuff. You could put a bed in or like a couch, but then I guess you could put like a bunk bed in and still make it work, but it might be a little bit harder. In that case, I don't know. I was trying to figure out what to do with the path. I ended up kind of just giving up and using terrain paint, which I think helped a lot. Although the terrain paint kind of fought me a little bit too. And to be honest, when you download it, it probably won't be there. Because let's be real, terrain paint doesn't stick around anymore. It just doesn't. No matter what you do, it just doesn't stick around anymore. But yeah. Yeah, so you get like double skill gain and like double relationship gain, things like that with these tiny houses. I also put some solar panels on the roof, just because I thought it would offset its cost a little bit. I don't think you're going to be able to go completely off the grid by any stretch in this house. I think you could maybe set it up with externals to be able to like power your house enough to make it run, but not with the way I have it set up. It'll just like help your electricity bill a little bit, like chill it out a little bit, which is nice. But anyways, we're looking at the screenshot, guys, and I've been talking your ear off, so I'm gonna let you just hang out with these screenshots and enjoy. I will fix that column before it goes up on the gallery, and I will catch y'all in a week for another one of these. And before that, some Minecraft, some shenanigans, I'm sure to ensue. We've got a long laundry list of things to do in that game, including figuring out how to get diamond armor, to get netherite armor, to then go fight a wither, maybe? It's a long way off, but we got plans. We got plans. Anyways, I'm gonna go. I hope you're having a great day and feeling loved. And if you're not feeling loved, please know that I love you. I'm glad you exist. I'm glad you're here hanging out. You make the world a better place just by being you. And I will see you next time. Okay, love you. Bye.